Hello, everybody. I'm Dani. Nice to meet you. Today, we're talking about the books that I've purchased in London, but also every other book I got both in May and start of June because I was a lot lazy. So, I didn't manage to get this video film until today. And so, this means the book multiplied because why not? They reached a number that is quite like huge. So I may should admit that I have an issue, like a bit of a problem with book ordering. Yes. So let's start from the two books that I got on Kobo. I'm attending a book club, so in May I purchased La Sonnambula by Bianca Pizzorno, and I've read it. So you can know what I thought about that book in the previous video. You can find it on my channel. The book club then opted for two books. I'm currently reading a book by John Niven. It's the first time I read something by him, and in English because I have it in Italian. The book is called The Sunshine Cruise Company, and it's about these women. They're in their 60s, and they decide to go to the bank and rob them just to solve quite some problems that men and other situation created. And it's definitely a weird book. Definitely, it's funny. I'm halfway through it, but it's weird. I wasn't expecting to start reading John Niven's book from this one, but it was in my wish list, so that's great. There's another book that I could read, which is by Lisa Jewell, but I haven't purchased it yet because I'd like to read like one book for the book club, because you're like meant to choose at least one book, or actually to read something that you could also propose to the group. So you don't have to read both choices, but I'd like to read a book by Lisa Jewell because I've read that she's a good writer. She writes thrillers for most, or I think that's actually her genre. But this is it at the moment. Before going to London, I actually purchased a book, which is Chernobyl 12340 by Andrew Lather Barrow. He's a journalist that specialized himself in this tragedy, which is the Chernobyl disaster. I really want to read this book. This is a paperback edition that came out with a newspaper here in Italy, and I was like, yes, yes. I have another book in my wish list about Chernobyl, and I don't remember the title correctly, but it should be Midnight at Chernobyl. I'm truly interested into this book also because it's inspired the docu series that also won a lot of prizes, and it was so real, like so well made, but also so tragic that I couldn't go farther than the second episode, which was sad because it was well made. And I talked about this with a friend of mine, and it was like, you should see it, like you should watch the whole series because it's amazing. Let's see if I'll make it. But then I went to London. I stayed only for 5 days, and I still managed to destroy my wallet, basically, my bank account actually, because I didn't have to use, not even once, like physical money. That was amazing. Here in Italy, it's not that easy to be able to not use your like cash, you know. So first thing we visited was actually a bookstore of used books, and I got two. My boyfriend got one, if I'm not mistaken. he also got a lot of books for himself, and that's great. The first book that I bought was Piranesi by Susanna Clark. This is a book about Piranesi that lives in this house, as it always has, yeah. Then messages begin to appear, scratched out in chalk on the pavements. There is someone new in the house, but who are they and what do they want? Lost texts must be found, secrets must be uncovered. The world that Piranesi thought he knew is becoming strange and dangerous. The beauty of the house is immeasurable, its kindness infinite. I know it's a fantasy book, which is not really my type, but I've heard so many good things about this book, and it's actually pretty short, so I'm like, why not? It was like £4, so I got it. It's first of all, the cover looks gorgeous. Let me tell you, look at it. It's glowing. It's golden. I don't know. Such an interesting topic. I don't know. I'm looking forward to read this. I'm very excited to have this book. And the other used book that I got for myself is She and Her Cat by Makoto Shinkai and Naruki Nagakawa. Makoto Shinkai is one of my best anime creators because he made Your Name, Suzume, Watering with You, 5 centimeters per second. It's great. He, I don't know, I think is a genius somehow. Outside Studio Ghibli's Studio Ghibli's movies, his animes I think are the best made out there. So this is very short book about how these 4 women, if I'm not mistaken, are kind of saved by their cats, and I absolutely had to have this book. There's also like the manga edition, if I'm not mistaken, but I was like he wrote a novel. Yes. Yes. Super excited. It was also £4, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it was £4. Anyway, very excited to read this one. Then I bought myself. It's here, so I'm showing you. I'm sorry. Wait a second. Wow, this is messy. I bought myself a Paddington Bear because I've always wanted it, and it's super cute. And it has also the little message his aunt wrote, and so I bought one version and also another one that I'm showing you of the first part of Paddington's story. This has been written like every other Paddington story by Michael Bond, but this one has been illustrated by Airview Halley, Hair Double View, I'm sorry, Halley, and let me tell you, it's gorgeous. Okay, like I read it, gorgeous. I loved these illustrations. It was super sweet. But I went to Waterstones and I purchased also. Let me take it out from this huge pile. The the first volume in the collection. This is A Bear Called Paddington and Other Stories. This gets this is a volume that collects the first 3 stories, still written by Michael Pollan, but illustrated by Peggy Fortnum. Um, I should have bought the whole collection, but I was like, okay, no, let's buy this one first. um, Paddington is a bear that got into England from Peru. His aunt can't take care of him anymore because she needs to retire basically and go to a sort of nursery home for old horses. Horses? No, I'm sorry. Bears. And so he gets found at the Paddington station in London by the Brown family and he kind of gets adopted. And I think it's so sweet, and he also has been inspired by all those kids that had to get to England on their own because of war. Um, absolutely lovely. Before talking about the other books that I got, Waterstone in Piccadilly, I absolutely want to show you the only graphic novel that I bought in England, which is Narrow Rooms. Look at it. I love it. By Choi Sungrim. Sungrim, I think it's said. If I'm not mistaken, yes, this has been translated into English. This is not available in Italian, and it was £25. But it's huge and also colored. Not every graphic novel gets this privilege to be colored. And this is a sort of like romance, but also a bit of a thriller comedy. It has many elements about this woman who is studying, and so she's like living in a room because she needs to pass the art school um, entry test, if I'm not mistaken. And at the same time, while she's in her room, she sees the neighbor, which is a boy, very tall, very handsome, and she's like, maybe he's a model. But then she started noticing that he comes and goes from his house many times during the day. So she's like, okay, what's going on? And I don't know, it captivated me. So although it was £25, which is a lot because in euros I think it's like 36 euros, I um I told myself, I mean, we don't have it in Italy, so I made this huge purchase. But yeah, then I went to, oh, sorry, let me see. Where did I went? Yeah, then when I went to Waterstone, I got the Paddington book, but I also got other three blue books. This is so funny. So first one is The Thousand-Year-Old Boy by Roswell Ford. I had this on my wish list. It's about this boy who has been there, like when the Vikings invaded England. He's quite old, but he never gets to die. Basically, it's not really immortal. It's, I think, just lucky, I guess. So he has known a very different life than any other guy that appear to be 11 years old. Um, so he starts to like try to get connected with other children, um, and also try to get to know a different life than his and than his own. And he also wants to understand how to like leave but also let go life. I don't know, it's a weird book, but I heard great things. So I picked it up. There's a cat on the cover. Yeah, there are also birds and a house that's burning, but cat. Yeah, you can see my priorities. I also got Am I Normal Yet by Ollie Byrne. It's about this girl, Envy. She sadly had a huge mental breakdown at the age of 16 because of OCD, and now she wants to like try, I can say, to overcome. I don't think it's the right term, but like she wants to be as normal as she can be. So date boys, go to school, have friends, go to parties. But she has to deal with OCD, which is very debilitating mental issue. And we have some of the books by Ollie Byrne that have been translated into Italian, but this one, which is actually part of a series, didn't. And as a person that suffers of OCD, I wanted to have this book. I actually started to read it while I was in Waterstones because I was waiting for my boyfriend to choose a book, and I like it so far. I just read like 2 chapters, if I'm not mistaken. I hope, like, at the moment, for what I've read, it seems like the author can explain what OCD is truly well, which can be triggering. So I'm a bit scared to read this book, but at the same time, I really want to read this book. I know that John Green has OCD himself, and he wrote Turtles All the Way Down, if I'm not mistaken. But the truth is, I have a sort of hate-love relationship with John Green's books, so I don't feel like reading it. So I really want to read other books about this topic because it's a very important topic for me, and so I picked this one up. And then I picked a book that is everywhere on social media, but in Italy, like you don't get this book. I don't know why this hasn't been translated yet. The book is The Convenience Store by the Sea by Sonoko Machida. In English, there's already the second one in the series that has been published. And this book is about this store called Tenderness Store, where everyone is kind, everyone is sweet. The cashiers know your name, and it seems like there's everything you may need in this weird store. So things start to happen, and it seems such one of those sweet Japanese books that I really enjoy. So I had to have it. Also, let me tell you something about Waterstone Piccadilly. 5 floors of books, which is incredible. This one wasn't on the shelves. I went to the cashier and was like, "Oh, I saw that Meet Me at the Convenience Store by the Sea uh, just got like the paperback edition, or at least the new translation." And like I was searching for the first one because I'm from Italy. We don't have this book yet, so I searched for it, but I didn't see it. And he was like, "Yeah, go back to floor one because we have it on floor one, first floor." Sorry. Um, there's the fiction side. So one of his colleagues, I turned to them, and they were like, "What? It should be on the shelves." And I told them, "No, I didn't find it." They looked on the phone, and they were like, "Let me grab a copy from the warehouse, basically the how is it called, the back room." I don't know how to call it because it's not a warehouse. It's the, well, whatever. I'm sorry. And they came back with some copies to put on the shelves. They were like, "I'm sorry you didn't find it while searching it the first time. I'm glad you asked me, so now I can put the other copies on the shelves so everybody can grab one." And so they gave me my copy, and I'm super excited. Actually, like the cover is amazing, and I was so excited to get this book that I also purchased a supermarket simulator on my Switch. Not the best one, but still an okay video game. I've been playing it for 5 hours or whatever. Then I went to TK Maxx because I knew they had like a book area, and I know like TK Maxx and TJ Maxx for America, they sell stuff that basically hasn't been sold in other stores, and they're like they have anything: clothes, beauty, purses, stuff for the house, name it, they have it. And I purchased a coloring book for like £3. And then my boyfriend purchased like 6 books for an absurd price, like 1/3 of their value, basically. And I grabbed Blue Sisters by Coco Mellors. I think this is how you say her name. This is about 3 sisters that have to get back to. I don't know if they're. Um, yes, they get back to their childhood home in London. They have different lives, and they get there because they should sell their childhood home because their fourth sister sadly passed away. And it's about grief. It's about like um rebounding, and it's about having sisters. Um, the cover is gorgeous. Let me tell you, I really think it's marvelous. I really love UK paperbacks. I always like talk about it, like rant about it, because I don't know, they're simply beautiful. They're simply beautiful. Do I have an Italian? Yes, I have an Italian paperback, and you'd be like, oh, but they look alike. Yeah, but look at this. You see how floppy the Italian version is? Because the quality of the binding is way different. But anyway, I haven't read anything by Coco Mellors, but I'd like to read this book, so I hope it's good. Then I went to the airport because I had to get back home. It was sad. It was an amazing vacation. It was also like my second vacation abroad, my first serious vacation in such a long time. So at the airport, there were some good prices on books, guys. Like, and there were paperbacks. Like I already told you. So there was Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry, half price. So it was like £4 and 49. This is about these two authors. They hate each other, but they get to be invited by this Madeleine Ives, which is a famous heiress, and they could tell her story. So she has to pick one, basically, if I'm not mistaken. But they hate each other. They're enemies, apparently. I guess so. I've read Betrayed. Wasn't my favorite book, but I really wanted to read more by this author. I wanted to pick People We Meet on Vacation because that's the book I think that will be the greatest by her because of my favorite tropes being there, like friends, lovers, you know. But this was half price, so yes. But I also picked two other books because if you pick two books, the second one, the cheapest one between the two, was going to be half price too. So I picked I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. She's an actress. She used to be an actress for Nickelodeon. I didn't watch many episodes of the series she's been into, but let me tell you, this book has been on my wish list since it has been announced because there's this idea of like saying that you're glad somebody died and you feel liberated by that. That seems such an awful thing to say, but the truth is, not everybody has a nice life, and not everybody comes from a functional family, I would say. So I'm glad she wrote this book. I have the highest expectations about this book, and I also love autobiographies. So this was my pick. Like, I was like, yes. I also picked Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is about this band composed by Daisy Jones and the Six. They're from the 70s. At some point in the middle of June 1979, the band splits. And it's told, if I'm not mistaken, in the form of interview, which is super cool. I haven't watched the series. I haven't read anything by this author, so I'm super excited about this book. Like, this was one of the books I really wanted to get in London, but I like half of the price. Yeah, sign me in. But then I came home and I had a gift card to spend in a bookstore, and also I've read Takashi from the Bike Shop, Volume 1, so I had to pick Volume 2. You know, stuff happened, and so with the gift card I got The Prophecy of, oh, how do you say this? Well, La Profezia dell'Armadillo di Zero Calcare, which is a huge like, I think at this point the most important comic author here in Italy. Let me see the title in English because there must be an English translation. I saw the Spanish one. Yeah, The Armadillo Prophecy, of course. This is the first book by Zero Calcare. and I've read already three of his books, and I highly recommend them. Also, I watched both the both no all the three series he made with Netflix, and I highly recommend them. Absolutely, I think it's a great author. This is a paperback edition that it's quite inexpensive. It's like not even half the price, and I don't know. I think it's cute. Also, my comic shelves are filled with books, so I like this idea of having a pocket edition, basically. I also got, but in my favorite independent comic store, Takashi and From the Bike Shop, Volume 2. And also because there was, how's it called? A sort of sale, a discount, yeah, a discount. I bought Golden Ship by Kaori Ozaki, which talks about this girl who's called Tsugu Mikura. She loves playing the guitar, and she has to go back to her, like, basically hometown in the countryside. So she gets united with her childhood friends, but stuff has changed because it's been years and they've been growing, also growing apart. And so this is a story in 3 volumes, which is quite okay, um, as a number of volumes, about friendship, rebounding, and also family issues. So the cover is gorgeous. This has just come out in Italy. I think it's been out for like a month or two. So I got it. Then my best friend, Marco, when my birthday arrives, he always asks me to refresh my wish list. I made like a wish list just for him on Amazon because we live very far from each other, and so we really like to buy to each other stuff that we really want. And so I got a few things like the eyeliner. Maybe you can't see it, but I have a multi-chrome eyeliner, but by Wet and Wild, which I didn't know how to purchase it in a shop, like a physical shop, because we don't get much Wet and Wild stuff here in Italy. And he also purchased it purchased me. Oh, I'm sorry, two books. One is a comic book by the same publisher of the previous two comic books. It's actually a manga. Let me see if I can find the English title. Okay, so this one is known as The Stargazing Dog or Star Watching Dog by Takashi Murakami, and it's about this dog that um, goes on a journey with his human. And look at the cover. There's a different cover, but it's about like short stories. So I hope I like this. I feel like it's going to be heartbreaking. It's scary, but lovely. Also, we don't get many mangas in this format. This is a huge format, and it's great. The other book that my friend purchased me is the paperback I showed you before, and it's, let me tell you what's the original name. Crossings. Crossings by Alex Landragin. This is about like multiple stories, kind of colliding with each other. We're in Paris. It's an historical fiction, but it's also fantasy. Like there are novels and authors that get to be like in the same mix, I would say. It's a weird story, but I've been recommended this book by a girl I used to talk to on Instagram because we both enjoyed books, and so she was like, "You have to read it." And I think one of my friends read this and was like, girl, add it to your wish list. And so I added it to my wish list. Um, there's a sentence here. I didn't wrote this book. I stole it. That's so cool. Well, anyway, these were all the books that I got in a month, and um that's a lot. But I'm excited. I'm truly excited about all the books that I got. So very happy. Anyway, we'll see each other as soon as I can. I'm sorry for not being so good at posting like every week or consistently. Consistently. I'm sorry, I don't even know how to speak English apparently. Anyway, thank you so much for staying. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel and we'll see each other in a bit. Bye!